What is the greatest Elimination Chamber match of all time according to wrestling YouTube? Well, you're in the right place. Myself and 9 very talented wrestling YouTubers in the YouTube wrestling community are here for you here today on SCW, going to be giving us our favourite Elimination Chamber of all time. And of course, at the end, we're going to tally all the score together and we're going to find out which is the best Elimination Chamber match of all time. But first off, please subscribe to SCW, please like the video, share it with a friend as well, and comment what your favourite Elimination Chamber match is of all time. And as well, you can go to the link in the description of this video and you can go to every channel, show some love, show some support, click on the links, click on the channels, watch a video, subscribe to the content, drop it a like as well. You will not regret it. Some great talented people are in the lineup of this video. So to quickly go through the rules of this video, we've got 8 wrestling YouTubers waiting in Elimination Chamber pods. They will be released at later points during the video. We're going to start with 2 people though to kick things off, give them their favourite Elimination Chamber match of all time. Then one by one, another wrestling YouTuber will be released from the pods to give their favourite Elimination Chamber match of all time. If you want to know my favourite Elimination Chamber match of all time, you're going to have to stick around throughout this video. I can give you a spoiler now. I'm not number 1 or number 2 in this video. I'm somewhere hidden in and amongst the pack. I will also come in at regular intervals during the video to give you the updated standings, and of course at the end of the video we'll go through the final league table to see which is the most popular and best Elimination Chamber match of all time. But without further ado, every wrestling YouTuber is waiting in their pods, but it is now officially time to introduce our first guest here today. The first one in the Elimination Chamber environment is going to be none other than 1/3 of KTR. That's right, No The Ropes podcast is back here on SCW, the terrific trio, but we've got one of them here today. That's right, Cinco is with us here, giving his favourite Elimination Chamber match of all time. Take it away.
What's up, Steve? This is Cinco from No The Ropes podcast, and on behalf of No The Ropes podcast, I would like to say that the best Elimination Chamber match of all time has to be the first one. November 2002 Survivor Series, Triple H, HBK, Y2J, Booker T, RVD, Kane for the World Heavyweight title, with Shawn Michaels making a comeback and becoming our champion. You can't go against the first one. That arguably is probably the best Elimination Chamber match of all time. My personal opinion. It makes sense to me because that's when the Elimination Chamber was first debuted. It was in its rawest form. It was probably the most dangerous projectile of the Elimination Chamber than what it is now, so it made it more dangerous. And like that's probably the best one in my opinion, personally. So best Elimination Chamber match, that first one, 2002 Survivor Series, Madison Square Garden. Can't beat that. Shout out to the SCW Steve.
Big thanks to Cinco for us there. Kicking things off, of course, with our first entrant there, and of course the first ever Elimination Chamber. Will it be the number 1 though at the end of this video? Time will tell. But a big thank you to say once again to Cinco for being a part of this video. As it is towards our next participant here in our Elimination Chamber match here, we've got the one, the only writer for PW Torch, freelance, of course, knows his wrestling stuff as well. In fact, he gets his own little spoiler warnings for you. It is Mr. Tom Colohue making his return here on SCW.
Hello everyone, it's Tom Colohue here again, and Steve has very graciously asked me to jump in with my thoughts on what I think is the best Elimination Chamber match of all time. Now, there are some really good choices here. Certainly I think 2016, won by Bray Wyatt, was an incredible year. I really enjoyed the 7-man chamber, which started with a rematch from WrestleMania with Finn Balor, The Miz and Seth Rollins, before ending with Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. Certainly looks better in retrospect, but I actually have to give it to one which featured twice during the night. The one in which Edge featured twice during one night. I'm going to start by choosing No Way Out 2009, and I'm going to choose the first Elimination Chamber, in which Edge lost the championship within about 3 minutes. Later he would come back and be a winner at the expense of Kofi Kingston. But it's not just the Edge loss that made it interesting for me. It ended in a real knockdown, drag-out war between Triple H and The Undertaker. And that in particular, that one section of just those 2 men, that has stood the test of time for me. For Elimination Chamber, No Way Out 2009, the show opener, Elimination Chamber.
Fantastic selection that one, and arguably one of my favourite underrated pay-per-views of all time, No Way Out 2009. If you've not seen it, I highly recommend you go and check it out. But that is the first Elimination Chamber match there that is given the poll vote here for us, the one where Edge lost his World Heavyweight Championship in a number of minutes. Will that one be number one at the end? Time will tell. You're not going to hear from me now for a few entrants. In fact, the next time you see my face, I'll be giving the updated league standings. But next on the channel is a good friend of SCW. In fact, recently becoming a writer as well, an opinion writer for No DQ. Also, it is from the Discus Lariat Collective. It's time to welcome Warren back to SCW, given his favourite Elimination Chamber match.
How's it going? Warren here from the Discus Lariat Collective podcast. Thanks again, Steve, for having us on the show. Really do appreciate it. My favourite Elimination Chamber match would have to be the one from New Year's Revolution 2005. It was in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and the crowd was crazy from the get-go. They were hanging on every last thing, whether it was a punch, a move to the outside, a pin, anything. They really made the match, but also stacked. We had Triple H, Batista, Randy Orton, Benoit, Jericho, and Edge. And then I think as well what was cool is you had like a few different styles. Like you had the technical side of it to start with Jericho and Benoit. Triple H coming in, just busting people open for the sake of it when he came in, and then you had the further splintering of Evolution with Batista coming in, doing all the grunt work, helping out Triple H constantly since he came in, and then basically eliminating people for Triple H. And then Triple H didn't really give it back. I remember Batista eats RKO and Triple H just sits in the corner. He goes to get up and break it up, but he leaves it. So that was a pretty cool moment. And then obviously Batista would go on and become world champion a few months down the line. But just a great match overall. Shawn Michaels, guest referee in it. He obviously plays a part in some parts. What else do we have? The crowd, as I said, they were counting down to each pod in Spanish because being in Puerto Rico, but it was just so loud, and you can see Shawn Michaels and all reacting to it. It's just great watch from start to finish. If you haven't seen it, or you haven't seen it in a while, it's definitely worth checking out. That would be my favourite.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and I am the host of the Ryan Awesome Show. First off, man, I'd like to thank Steve for inviting me to the show to give him my opinion on the greatest Elimination Chamber match of all time. Man, if I had to choose, it's going to be the 2006, the New Year's Revolution 2006 Elimination Chamber match. You had John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, Kane, who else you had? Carlito and Chris Masters, those six. You had the chamber match, Cena, HBK, they started off first. And what made this chamber match the best was not only what happened in the match, but what happened after the match, with Edge coming out, cashing in his Money in the Bank contract. First ever Money in the Bank contract winner, Edge, cashing in on Cena, a bloody Cena, beating the hell, man. What made it so great, man, was the fact that he cashed it in, speared him like 4 or 5 times, and beat him to win his first ever world championship in the company, the WWE Championship, man. Like right after the pay-per-view, man, we had Edge and Lita. They had their live sex celebration, so that was really iconic too. You cannot do that stuff today, man. But yeah, that's what made it the best chamber match. It elevated their feud, it elevated the Money in the Bank contract, and it elevated Edge's career. It made him a top guy. So that's why this chamber match is one of the best. Like, who can forget about that feud, man? Edge slapping John Cena's dad in the face, and John Cena one time going into Edge's hotel room and beating the hell out of him. And yeah, man, they just had a great feud, man. In a feud, it felt like they legit hated each other, man. But yeah, this right here was the best Elimination Chamber match, in my opinion. In my opinion, the best chamber match was this chamber, the New Year's Revolution 2006. Once again, Steve, thank you for inviting me to your show, man. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name's Eleanor Wrestling on YouTube. Thanks again to Steve for having me on his channel once again. I truly do appreciate it. Feel free to subscribe to me on Eleanor Wrestling on YouTube. I do like reviews, previews, predictions, all of that, so go subscribe over there. So, the greatest Elimination Chamber match of all time. Wow, that's a tough question. That is really, really tough. But I think I'm going to go with the WWE title match from Elimination Chamber 2019. That match was just incredible. It was Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe versus Kofi Kingston versus the then WWE Champion, the new Daniel Bryan. Even just physicality wise, this match was absolutely brutal. I recently rewatched it and honestly forgot how intense the match was. It was absolutely incredible. I mean, that RKO that Randy Orton does to AJ Styles, oh my goodness, absolutely incredible. And then when it got down to just Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston, the crowd was so behind Kofi Kingston. Everyone was rooting for him. Everyone wanted him to win. It was his moment, his time to shine. And the close near falls were absolutely insane. Like those, honestly, the amount of moments where I just thought, oh my God, Kofi Kingston, he's just become WWE champion. It was absolutely crazy. Of course, you all know the result. Daniel Bryan did end up retaining, but it set up perfectly the story for KOFIMANIA, where Kofi did eventually become WWE champion, which was absolutely incredible. So therefore, I'm going with that WWE title in the Elimination Chamber match as the greatest one of all time. Thank you so much, Steve, for having me on his channel. I really do appreciate it.
Big thank you indeed there to the talented Eleanor Wrestling, as well as Ryan Awesome there, making his debut on SCW. We've had 5 wrestling YouTubers and 5 different Elimination Chamber matches given. Let's go through the standings as we see it so far. Of course, we've got Survivor Series 2002 there. We've got New Year's Revolution 2005, 2006, as well as the first Elimination Chamber match from No Way Out 2009. And of course, who can forget the road to KOFIMANIA from the Elimination Chamber in 2019. So that's how it stands at the moment. Are we going to just have like different Elimination Chamber matches given for that entire video, or are we going to get standings where we're going to see one chamber go above the rest? We're going to have to find out as we go through our next selection now of wrestling YouTubers. Starting off now with the fantastic rated R For Rasslin. Anthony is back, giving his favourite Elimination Chamber match of all time.
Alright guys, I am picking New Year's Revolution Elimination Chamber from 2005. Great lineup here. You have Edge, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Triple H, and Batista of Evolution, and Randy Orton. Now, Shawn Michaels is the guest referee here. You would see Edge accidentally spear him in the match, then get super kicked by Shawn Michaels, thus being eliminated in this match. It's an awesome match. Great physicality throughout. You have that awesome intro part, beginning of the match, where it's Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit going one-on-one. Tons of fun here. A lot of blood from Triple H and some from Chris Jericho as well. You have, this is the time, it's all Evolution. Randy Orton was already betrayed by Evolution when he won the World Heavyweight title. So you have that playing into factor here. You have Batista helping out Triple H for a majority of this match when he does come into the chamber. But in the end, as the eliminations go through, you have Randy Orton eliminating Batista. Wow, with a great camera work from WWE, you see Triple H in the background looking like he's going to go help Batista, but then doesn't. He kind of sits up and then kind of just drop back down, lets Batista get pinned by Randy Orton. This will play on later on in storyline, where we would see, obviously, Batista turn on Triple H and beat him at WrestleMania. But Triple H ends up getting the win, defeating Randy Orton, becoming the World Heavyweight title. This is the best Elimination Chamber of all time, just because all the storylines involved, how well it was told, the great camera work, from when you see Batista being pinned by Randy Orton with Triple H in the background, not helping his fellow Evolution teammate, and just how sinister, conniving Triple H actually is, and what this would lead to down the road. But that's my pick. New Year's Revolution 2005, the Elimination Chamber match for the World Heavyweight title.
Thanks for asking me to be on your channel again, Steve. So my favourite Elimination Chamber of all time, the one that I think is the greatest of all time, is the very first one, 2002 Survivor Series. A bunch of guys in it: Booker T, Chris Jericho, Kane, RVD, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, that put on a stellar match. I think it was the best one because it was so different at the time. We had never seen it before, and it was just a different concept and a different feeling. And that's why I feel it's held up as one of the best ones, because it's got a great lineup of guys in it as well, but also it stands aside from all the other ones that we had as being completely fresh and new. But yeah, also seeing Shawn Michaels get the win with that big gold belt was very weird. It was bloody, and we're not used to seeing Michaels with the big gold belt, so it was pretty weird. But it was one of my most enjoyable Elimination Chambers. Now there is a bunch of great ones out there, and yeah, this is my favourite one. It tops the list out of them all.
Big thank you once again to Barry from Nonstop Wrestling Chat, as well as their anti-rated R For Rasslin. Always great to get their opinions on these kind of topics there. And of course, they've actually made a difference to the leaderboard as well now. So we have Survivor Series 2002 as well as New Year's Revolution 2005. They're taking a lead with 2 votes each. We've got 3 more YouTubers to go. So will these be at the top coming towards the end of the video? There's still time for one of these other ones, or perhaps a brand new chamber if it takes all the votes to pick up the W. But I've got a funny feeling you may recognize this next YouTuber. There are so many great Elimination Chamber matches that have stood the test of time. For me, some of my particular favourite ones are the first ever Women's Elimination Chamber match. Also, as well, with the Women's Tag Team titles as well, where we saw Bayley and Sasha win them on that first ever occasion. New Year's Revolution, another one of my personal favourites as well. And also, we had a shout for KOFIMANIA earlier in this video also. But for me, my personal favourite one has to be the very first one, Survivor Series 2002. As been said earlier in this video already, we just didn't know it was the great unknown of the structure. Still, when you watch this match to its day, it just feels like it really is the pilot. It is kind of the one where you kind of wince at seeing like the graphic structure of the cage outside the ring. We see a back body drop on it. It just looks so much more painful than Elimination Chamber matches that you see of today, even though I think it's still a very good concept that you see there. It just was in its roughest, purest format, and arguably most violent as well. The fact as well, they had some memorable moments in the match. Of course, RVD jumping up the top of the pod, which of course sadly landed on Triple H's throat. How we ever ended up finishing that matchup, I'll never know, to be brutally honest. But with the lineup there, we mentioned RVD, Triple H, Chris Jericho, Booker T, Kane, and eventual winner Shawn Michaels, of course, coming back there to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, he'd been away for such a long time. It was only, I think, his like second match back as well to win the World Heavyweight Championship, when we thought we'd never see him wrestle again. Just such a special moment. And the fact as well, it was on a pay-per-view that's one of my favourite pay-per-views of all time as well. Survivor Series 2002 is a real standout show. One would be one of those shows that I could say it's near enough perfection from start to finish. And you know, when you have that on one of those sorts of nights, these sort of matches, they seem to stand out and just get elevated that bit more. So for that reason, for me personally, Elimination Chamber from Survivor Series 2002 is my personal favourite. As we're coming towards the end of the video, let's get a good friend of mine on for us next now, the Analytical Assassin. That's where we're going under analysis with Aaron, wrestling By Wooldridge, giving his favourite Elimination Chamber match of all time. In fact, this was actually asked to him during our Elimination Chamber 2018 SCW Rewind. So the question is Survivor Series 2002 going to take a lead where it cannot be catched, or is one of the other chamber matches going to catch it up? Aaron, it's time to find out your selection.
I'd like to know, what is your favourite Elimination Chamber match of all time?
Oh, put me on the spot there.
I am, aren't I? Putting you right on the spot.
Honestly, I can't remember everything from like the early sort of 2010s and maybe like late noughties. That kind of all just blends into one, if I'm honest with you. Like I feel like I have seen them all, but they do really blend. I really like the third one, New Year's Revolution, I think it was.
Yes.
I think Triple H won that one. I do like that one. Obviously, the first one is really good as well, with Michaels winning. But yeah, I mean, these two are right up there as well. Like they were great chamber matches, but I'd probably go 2005, I think.
So there you have it there. New Year's Revolution has caught up there with 3 votes. They're going neck and neck with the Survivor Series. Big thank you to Aaron as well, being on the channel there for us, giving his selection of favourite chamber match. And of course, we're now neck and neck going into the final one. Will we get a draw for the first time, or is Survivor Series 2002 or New Year's Revolution 2005 going to be the winner? There's only one way to find out, and of course that is to get our final wrestling YouTuber out of the pod. And of course, it's a debutant as well now coming onto the channel, a moderator for Tom Colohue on the Tom Colohue channel, and as well as that also is a part of Love Wrestling on YouTube as well. It is the fantastic Ed Fries. Ed, what's your favourite Elimination Chamber match?
Hi, this is Ed Fries from Love Wrestling, and you can find me on Twitter at EdFries12584. And when Steve asked me to do this, there was only one match that came to mind. My favorite Elimination Chamber match is by far the first one. The intrigue going into it, not knowing what to expect, seeing the structure for the first time, and having my favorite superstar of all time, Shawn Michaels, win the match, coming back, silly hair, the brown tights, it's just all great. I love it. Rob Van Dam almost decapitates Triple H with that frog splash off the cage because nobody knew what to do with it. It was the catalyst of everything that's to come. So by far and away for me, my favorite Elimination Chamber match, Survivor Series 2002, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Chris Jericho, Kane, Booker T, Rob Van Dam. Absolutely fantastic. Thanks.
So there you have it there. Big thank you to Ed there with his contribution to it. Of course, the winning vote there, as you can see, the league standings. The winner is the Survivor Series 2002, the first ever Elimination Chamber match, has still held the test of time and is still seen as the greatest Elimination Chamber match of all time. But there are some bangers in there as well. New Year's Revolution 2005 coming in second place with 3 votes there at the end. And of course, we have shout-outs also to give to New Year's Revolution 2006, No Way Out 2009, the first chamber match on that show, as well as KOFIMANIA, the road to KOFIMANIA, of course, going through the Elimination Chamber 2019. And as well as that, a big thank you to everyone that's been involved in this video. Like I say, so many talented wrestling YouTubers as well. Go and support their channels. The links to every channel is in the description of this video. And as well as that, while you're here, especially if you're first time watching here on SCW, if you enjoyed this video, then please hit the thumb up. Please subscribe to this channel as well. Hit the bell, turn notifications to all, each and every time a video is released as we head towards the Elimination Chamber, of course, next Saturday. And as well as that, of course, we're on the road to WrestleMania 38 as well. So plenty of videos and content on the way. So make sure that you don't miss out here on SCW. It's going to be a fun, special time as we go towards WrestleMania 38. But big thank you as well to everyone that's been watching this video. Big thank you as well, especially to everyone that's helped collaborate to make this video possible. Did we get it right together? If you disagree, let us know in the comments below right now. If you agree as well, of course, let us know in the comments below as well. But check out these other videos on your screen in the meantime. Have yourselves a great day, and a big thank you for watching SCW. All the best, take care, and I'll see you next time.